He turned out very well, I think, and especially having the Toyota Paris 400 at the end is great news.
With the scene set, it was time to take on the short, sharp qualifying route for the TGRSA Vaal 400. At just 14 kilometers in length, the Pirelli qualifying race was going to be over almost before it started. But in terms of the race, it could play a pivotal role, as the sole purpose of the qualifier is to determine the starting position for the main race. And with most of the route identical to the day before, starting at the head of the field would ensure an open road over familiar terrain, a carrot dangling in front of the fast crews. The man who made the most of the moment was Toyota Gazoo Racing SA's Janil de Villiers, with Alex Harrow beside him in the Hilux. The Dakar legend needed just 8 minutes and 25 seconds to cover the 14-kilometer loop, taking pole position in the process. He pipped teammates and newly minted champions Henk Ladergan and Brett Cummings by 4 seconds to steal an early march, but Ladergan was ready to take on his illustrious teammate come the main event. Ladergan, however, would have to keep his eyes on the rear-view mirrors as winners of the previous round, Chris Visser and Donnie Stassen, completed the qualifier just 1 second behind the Works Hilux in their own version of the same car. Some other crews posted spectacular times too, with Brian Baragwanath and Tay Perry going 4th fastest in the CRT, and Lance Woolridge, along with Alvin Vonk, posting the 5th fastest time in their Ford Castrol Racing Ranger. In the Pirelli qualifying race, the fastest of the Class T cars was that of Jacques Van Tonder and Sammy Redlinghuis in their NWM Ford Ranger. The pair were back in action after missing the bulk of the season, but were clearly finding their feet quickly. They had championship hopefuls Johan and Werner Horn just 4 seconds behind them in the Malalan Toyota Racing Hilux. But the Horns were matched for time by Malcolm and Frans Koch in a second NWM Ford Ranger, turning the Horns into the meat in a Ford sandwich. Winners of round 4, Vos Prinsloo and Andre Vermeulen, posted the 4th fastest time in quali, but lagged 26 seconds behind the car ahead of them. In the special vehicle category, Big Lance Trethewey and Adrian Roots may have missed out on a large part of the season, but the pair were back in fine form for the TGRSA Vaal 400. Their time of 8 minutes and 49 seconds was well clear of their nearest competition. That competition came almost unbelievably in the form of Trace Price-Moore and Sean Braithwaite driving a Class P bat. Despite the power deficit, the pair were just 22 seconds off the time set by Big Trethewey. A further 29 seconds separated Price-Moore in second from Sandra and Jaco Jonk, who recorded the 3rd fastest qualifying time in their Total Agri-supported Porter. Spare a quick thought for Howes and Campbell before we move on, though. The newly crowned champions barely got into the qualifier when a huge crash forced them to retire their Zarco Magnum. Luckily, the title had already been decided. And then there were the crews in Class G, or the Sidees, as they've become known. Remember, Nico Durant and Werner Mostert were locked in a stern battle for the title, but a quick look at the qualifying results revealed that neither of them topped the charts. As a matter of fact, it was Dean Bradbury and Dierwold Els who set the fastest time in the class with a sterling 9 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yesterday we had a bad day. We broke our A-arm. And then today, we qualified hard, took it quiet, and just smooth right through everything.
They had Hanno Bierman and Peter de Beer breathing down their tailpipes, though, just 11 seconds behind them. And behind them came Theo Erasmus and Edward Odendahl with a time of 10 minutes and 14 seconds. So no sign at this stage of the championship contenders. Let's take a quick look at the qualifying results in each category. It was de Villiers and Harrow at the top of the FIA standings, with Ladergan and Cummings in second, and Visser and Stassen rounding out the top 3. Van Tonder and Redlinghuis showed great form to win out the Class Ts, with the Horns finishing ahead of the Cox by just a hair. Trethewey and Roots again blew the lights out in the top of the specials, with Trace Price-Moore recording a stonking run for second, and the Yonks completing the podium in third. And in Class G, it was Bradbury and Els who led ahead of Bierman and de Beer, with Erasmus and Odendahl in third. Noteworthy though, Werner and Leon Mostert went 5th fastest, with Durant and Hutting, the championship leaders, lagging a minute behind their nearest challengers for the title. And so, the dust briefly settled over the town of Parys, but it wasn't long before the crews were back in action, taking on the Toyota Gazoo Racing SA Vaal 400, the final round of the 2020 season.